Welcome to Porsche Sprint Challenge USA West action at Sonoma Raceway here in Northern California for race number 1 of the weekend for the series. Let's take a look at exactly where we are here in Northern California, just north of San Francisco in wine country. A fantastic facility out here that is filled with elevation, and turn number 1 is steeply uphill all the way up until turn number 3, and then turn number 4 from then on goes downhill through the carousel down into turn number 7, our best passing opportunity on the racetrack, and also look towards turn number 9, that chicane section, as well as turn number 11 at the very, very close end of the racetrack down here. We are on pace lap number 2. I'll go ahead and read through our starting grid. On pole is going to be Laura Eli, the 209 car, starting out front. Manny Del Real is going to be starting in second place, with Krigler back here in third, sharing row number 2 with Henry Marshall. David Fabi is going to be rolling off in the 5th place position. Luke French next to him in 6th. Brandon Hankins back here in 7th in that white and red 295. And then comes our Cayman class cars, led by Zach Bradford, your pole sitter, in that number 14. Greg Herback's going to be lined up next to him. And then the number 75 car out there of Justin Lewis. And I'm Joey Atterbury, joined in the booth here with Joe Peak for this USA West action. Joe, happy to have you back up here. You finally have been able to catch your breath just a little bit after doing some podium celebrations.
Not as far away as they are sometimes, thankfully. It's thankfully not as far away as they sometimes are, but up here once again as we're getting ready to take the start of our 3rd USA West race of the season. And Laura Eli going to lead them away as they slowly approach turn 11. You could see the 2 classes that they have split out there, ready to go. 35 minutes plus a lap that they will be competing. Coming down towards the start line, they now have to wait for the call from the flag stand before they are allowed to accelerate. Usually right about here where we see the green at the side of the track. There it is. Green flag is out. And Laura Eli gets a pretty good start. It is Jill DeReal to her outside, going to try and challenge, but does not get a good run. Still has Mark Krigler close behind. They come up to the braking of turn 2, and it looks like we are going to say as they are.
Now it's really just kind of sorting each other out, and a few of these drivers were literally just on the track for our Cayman North America race number 1. And that includes Zach Bradford in the number 14 and Greg Herback in that number 49. So quick turnarounds for both of those drivers in the Caymans.
Without a doubt. Yeah, Zach couldn't even be at the podium ceremonies for that last race. He had to hop back in the car, and he's now leading in the Caymans currently up at the top. Actually, no, I take that back. Henry Marshall, I think, just in front of him currently. No, excuse me, Henry is in the Cup cars right now. So, yes, Zach is leading the Caymans overall. He's our Pro-Am leader as well. Meanwhile, this is Krigler versus Marshall, who I just mentioned. 2 different classes. Krigler leads the Pro-Am, and Henry Marshall apparently wants by so he can chase after Laura.
Laura's done a terrific job to kind of run away right now. 3 seconds of a lead between herself and Krigler, the battle that we're watching here on the screen. Zach Bradford and that Cayman doing a nice job to stick in touch with these GT3 Cup cars as well out here on the racetrack. And now you see that gap that Laura Eli has been able to build on the opening lap. Henry Marshall, though, nice and close into turn number 11. Krigler covers it off.
He's forcing Mark to get very defensive. In fact, Mark looks like he went a little deep into the corner, but despite the extra distance, he stays in P2. This is working out beautifully for Laura Eli. She has stretched the lead to about 3 seconds already.
And I think really the car to watch out for is this car that we're focused on right here, this white, red, and black of Brandon Hankins, as we jump over to that lead battle here between Krigler and Marshall. But there goes Brandon Hankins around Zach Bradford. I do feel like that's probably the fastest car and driver that we've got on this racetrack right now in this session, and he's buried in 4th place.
It'll be interesting to see if he can get in some clear air, what that's going to compare between himself in Laura Eli because she was the fastest the first lap around, but then the second lap I think will be a little bit more telling between them. As we come down towards turn 7, Krigler about 4.3 seconds off. She's trying to get as much distance as she can.
And Brandon, crucially, already closed it into the back of that HM road racing car. So I think maybe look towards turn number 9. If he's close enough through the S's, he can't outbrake him. It's a good passing opportunity, but you really got to be right on the bumper, right about here, in order to get that momentum. So maybe not towards turn number 9. He does present the car a little bit more in the middle of the road, kind of put it in that right side rear view mirror of that red and white 278 to announce that he is there.
Also want to point out that Greg Herback is only about a second off of Zach Bradford for the overall Caymans, so could see a fight for that start to break out between the pair of them. Off of turn 11 once again, getting a bit backed up now as Krigler is able to hold on to second overall, but Hankins can see that class leader in front of him, even though he's split by Marshall.
And he actually just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:43.5. That's about half a second faster than anybody else out there. He does have the speed. However, having the speed and making the passes are two different things. How many times have we heard that?
Well, we saw that in the Cayman race just a bit ago, where a driver who was much quicker had trouble getting by, but Hankins does not have such issues. He absolutely attacks Marshall and gets P3 overall with that one. Now it is Krigler first in Pro-Ams with Hankins second in that class directly behind him.
What's even more impressive about that pass, he still went purple in sector number 1 while making that pass. So I think Brandon Hankins, once he gets a little bit of clean air out the windshield on the front end of this GT3 Cup car, he is going to set sail and try to reel in Laura Eli. But first up on the list is you got to get by Krigler there in the 204.
I think he's got to do his best now to try and make quick work of this, so that he doesn't get held up too long. Gives Laura more of a chance to try to run away. In fact, he's not going to wait at all. He's going to go down into the chicane at turn 9, and he has that 2 positions in 1 lap, move Hankins to the lead of the Pro-Ams.
Purple sector 1, purple sector 2, made passes in both areas, and now he's looking to chase down Laura Eli out front. But Laura's doing a really good job staying consistent, doing pretty much 144s the entire race. 44.0 was the last time by. She improves that down to a 43.7. The only problem, Brandon Hankins just put in a 42.6.
Woo! He was a second faster while making passes. Brandon Hankins with a bit between his teeth. And this does not stop the battle for third overall either. We have to remember that Krigler versus Marshall is still hot right now.
It is 2 different classed cars, Krigler in the Pro-Am and Henry Marshall in that Masters class. But crucially, if Henry Marshall can make the pass, maybe he can kind of attach himself a little bit to Brandon Hankins, and maybe once he fights with Laura Eli, kind of bring everything back in. But right now, he has got to pass Mark Krigler. Mark Krigler is doing a fantastic job, right? He has yet to make any mistakes. Sure, we saw Brandon Hankins be able to sneak through, but I think that was just on outright pace, not based off of anything that Krigler did wrong.
The numbers are telling a very interesting story. Laura Eli went purple in sector 1, and then suddenly Brandon Hankins took that purple sector away from her. So she's going faster, but I don't think it's going to be fast enough, because Brandon Hankins was about 3/10 quicker in the first sector alone. Also, I'm keeping half an eye on our timing screen for Herback, because he's been within less than half a second behind Zach Bradford in the Caymans.
Well, 3/10 faster in sector 1, 7/10 faster in sector number 2. I think that Brandon Hankins is just counting down the laps until he's right on the back bumper of the 209, but Henry Marshall still applying relentless pressure to the back end of Krigler.
He wants that spot. He knows it's not for class position, but as we always talk about, the drivers do want to beat everybody they can. That's still another driver in the same machinery out there. So if you can hold that over them, you know that you were the faster driver that day. Up into turn 2. Krigler doing a pretty good job here, although it was a bit wide on the exit.
Yeah, got pushed out a little bit wide in the middle of the corner, and you definitely saw it visually on the exit how far off he was, but Henry Marshall wasn't close enough to try to sneak the car down to the inside before getting down into the turn 3 complex. So he's going to have to continue to follow in the tire tracks of this black and blue 295, or I'm sorry, the 204 out there on the racetrack. And I think the most important thing that Krigler can do is not make any mistakes, right? He's proven that if he stays mistake-free, he's going to be very difficult to get around.
So with these two separating just a bit, we've got the reverse order for Hankins and Eli. It's down to 2.4 seconds between them. Another 0.3 in the first sector that Brandon has been able to cut down on Laura Eli. The good news for Laura is, yes, she's being caught, and we've been making a big deal of that. She'll still be our Masters leader, and she's taken a win in second place so far this season. So I think she's still going to come out our championship leader in her fight.
And you know, I know that this is a fantastic battle that we've got on the screen here, but I also see that Greg Herback has closed it up. He's actually just gotten around Zach Bradford somewhere on the racetrack. Now, I know that is Master on Pro-Am, but that is for our Cayman overall lead.
Indeed, you are correct. And I wonder if that happened in turn 7 while we weren't looking. Actually, no, it would have happened maybe a bit later than that, actually. Oh, we are hearing out of turn 7 is when they made that pass. So sad we didn't get to show it on screen, but congratulations to Greg managing to move up. We keep our attention on these two battling for third overall. Krigler versus Marshall. That's Krigler in the blue and black machine. The red, white, and black, that is Henry Marshall in the 278s. So as we follow them down through turn 4, he's been hovering behind him. Henry's been looking quick these last few laps. It's just hasn't been able to do anything with it quite yet.
And I think the toughest part about Henry Marshall's position is that the longer you stay behind the car, it always seems like the more difficult it is to get past them and to open up the door and actually grab that position. So we're going to be approaching halfway here and call it another handful of minutes. The sooner you can try to force the issue, I think the better off he is.
Now, we have a good view out of our commentary box of a lot of the track, and I can tell you that Laura Eli has officially been caught by Brandon Hankins. I think that battle is about to erupt. The question is, can she do anything to keep Brandon back?
Yeah, they're down at turn number 11 right now, just in front of this battle, and so I think that Brandon Hankins is going to be able to pass Laura Eli here soon enough. Get a shot of them coming out of the corner, and Laura still hangs on to the position for now.
Yeah, we saw them there at the side of the screen coming across the start-finish line. Ooh, this is close between Hankins. Not quite able to get there. Now we turn over to the overall lead. Hankins, what a recovery he's made, slicing up through the order, and is now attempting to try and take Laura Eli for the overall race lead. Not able to do much through the first few corners as it's quite tight and twisty through here. Can sometimes get aggressive down into turn 6, but he's not positioning himself right now.
I think where he's probably going to look for is towards turn number 7, right? Capitalize out of turn number 6, like you were saying. Really focus on the run down the drag strip section and hopefully be close enough to actually be able to pop out and make the move. Laura maybe about 2 car lengths in front. How aggressive Brandon's going to be, but not quite there. Oh, a big wiggle there in the middle of the corner. That allows Hankins to slip down the inside, and the overall lead goes to the 295.
That gift horse has not been looked in the mouth. He has taken that one immediately. Great job by Brandon Hankins. Laura Eli still our Masters leader, in fact, by about 10 seconds over Henry Marshall. Those two are still going pretty darn fast because that battle that we were watching behind them has dropped off by quite a ways.
And Brandon's last lap before he made that pass was fast as 40.8. Pretty impressive out of that, and I'm sure that once he's got clean air, he's just going to set a pace and kind of control the race from out front. But this battle right here still continues on. Krigler just being the immovable rock.
I have to commend him for the job he's been doing so far, not letting the pressure get to him. And I mean, we kind of saw that there with Laura Eli. It's little mistakes, little things that open things up that cost you those positions. And so far, Krigler hasn't done anything that's allowed that door to swing open enough.
And I'll back you up 100% because I think it is the most difficult driving that you can do is being on the defensive side, right? It's always easier to attack and try to pass another car out there, but it is so difficult to be able to run your pace when somebody is pressuring you from behind. You always get in your mind, say, oh, well, they can take it a little bit deeper going in here into 7. Oh, I can do that as well. And then all of a sudden the mistakes happen. So I think that Krigler is doing a fantastic job, like you were saying, to stay mistake-free.
In fact, he pulls away a little bit down through turn 6, looking a lot stronger through the long carousel to keep himself out of range critically into turn 7. Like you were pointing out earlier, that's where most drivers will try to make the move. Track position is so important here at Sonoma, and right now Krigler's got it. Marshall wants it. Back through the yeses they go, heading towards one of the other popular passing zones on this track, the chicane at turn 9, which we might as well borrow from VIR and nickname it Hogpen. Look at the puddle to the inside there. The cars will definitely want to avoid that.
I mean, you were just talking with one of the Cayman race winners, Todd Rotura, and I think that he ended up with a mud-covered car at the end of that one.
He was very proud of it as well. He thought that was the greatest thing ever. And, oh, that was quite wide. We've seen that before, but not enough that Marshall could get side by side, but he's on the longer distance on the outside, and it's not going to do it for him.
Crucially, though, he is closer coming up here into this turn 1-2 complex. And I think part of the pressure that you can apply is just get even closer. If you're 1 car length back, you can apply more if you're half a car length back. If you're half a car length, if you can get to a quarter car length, if you can get to the bumper, the closer you can get, the more pressure it puts on that leader.
Out through turn 4 once again. I think Marshall's doing a good job keeping himself in the right spot, but just can't seem to get Krigler to give himself the chances that he needs. We're 20 minutes plus a lap to go, so there's still a lot of race left in this. I think if he can stay patient for a little while and stay close, well, closer than this, frankly, then he could have some chances.
You're right that Krigler has kind of extended this gap out just a little bit here this lap, and it's allowed him to essentially not be under pressure. And now I'm curious if the dynamic changes, right? If he doesn't have to look in the rearview mirror so often, and if he can focus on the brake markers, if he can kind of take that deep breath and just kind of relax and exhale and see if he can pick up the pace himself.
Yeah, and I think right now he is making good use of it. Maybe he is a little bit more confident not having to deal with that car so close behind. He's a driver who started and around goes Krigler as somehow Marshall manages to get through. I was looking at my stats for a brief moment. Was there contact involved?
I did not see any sort of contact involved whatsoever. I think it was just a little bit of balancing the car on the very edge of the grip, and Krigler went around in turn number 11.
The one time that I go to check my information sheet, suddenly it all kicks off. But that does mean that Marshall has now moved himself into 3rd overall. He stays 2nd. And here's the other thing, is we've watched him boxed up for so long. Right now, I see the gap actually at 15 seconds, if that's right, to Laura Eli.
Oh, yes, up to Laura Eli. Yes, I do see that. I was also noticing it's about 15 seconds back to Krigler after that spin as well. So Krigler had to not only get it going again, but he had to spin it around the right direction. So it was not just an easy off and on.
And for those that are just tuning in to this race, it probably looks very dry, very sunny, as you typically get here in California, but trust me, it's been very wet for the early stage of today, and it tells you how much they had been using the wipers earlier on this morning, that we don't have Brandon Hankins, we have B. Hinnans that we are following.
You know, I didn't even notice that, but yeah, some of the vinyl has disappeared from the driver name up there. We'll have to ask Brandon how he now pronounces his last name.
Exactly. So he's just plugging in the laps now at this stage, 6 seconds ahead of Laura Eli. All he wants to do is try to focus on getting more experience out here. He also races in the North America GT3 Cup races, which will be directly after this, so he might not even get to accept his trophy on the podium, since he'll have to make a quick swap over, and that race will be around just afterwards. But this will be valuable information because all the other Cup drivers were out here in the wet earlier. He's now got experience in the dry.
You know what? That's an excellent point. And with the constantly evolving and changing track conditions, if you can be one step ahead of the rest of the competition, it can just provide you that track position jump, right? The confidence that you need to make the car down to the inside of a big braking zone in order to make those passes.
I just realized something that we've been wanting to mention for many races now. We finally have visual of it. Is one of our favorite features on this car. We can see their duck, and I'm trying to remember what name they gave him because it was a fantastic name, and now it's escaping me, unfortunately. But he's got a little helmet. They had him custom made because we were so enamored with him in previous races, and then suddenly we had lost opportunities to show him and mention him on all these other previous broadcasts. Now we've got a chance to really savor one of the more fun touch points in this team.
Gotta love it. It's part of racing is having fun out there, and sometimes you get a little mascot, sometimes it's on the side of the car. No matter what it is, he is riding on board, probably the fastest duck out there.
I think my favorite part of the whole story is the reason he has a helmet. Is that was a big correction up and over turn 2 from Laura Eli. Is when I showed my wife the initial appearance of the duck, her first comment was, "He's not safe. He doesn't have his helmet on." So the team took that to heart, and that's why they gave him one.
Well, he is going to be safe inside that race car, and Laura Eli continuing to click off the laps, maintaining that nice gap over Henry Marshall right now in class. So I think that she is doing her job, and the rubber ducky on the dash doing a fantastic job as well.
He'll get to celebrate if things stay as they are, and you're right, her last lap was 1.3 seconds faster than Henry Marshall. She's just gapping him bit by bit. There may have been a few lingering concerns earlier on, but I don't think they are there anymore as we come back to our overall leader, Brandon Hankins, who has found himself a very good start to this race. Where did he actually kick this one off?
I think that he actually started from last in this one. I'm not sure if he started from pit lane or not. I don't think he did that. But definitely from deep into the field. I think the starting order might have been a little bit but jumbled up from what I was reading off, because we've got a few of the cars that qualified that are actually not out there running.
So, as the drivers find themselves with quite a bit of race to go now, they really have to turn their attention, I think, to their own efforts rather than who they're racing against, because we've gotten pretty separated on the track. But this is a great opportunity, because you don't always get this during a race, to really focus on, okay, where's my pace? What can I improve upon? Where can I find something maybe for later on this weekend, because we have race number 2 happening tomorrow.
I was just kind of cruising through our timing and scoring order over here, just watching everything, and it certainly seems like the Caymans have spread out as well. So closest battles on the racetrack is definitely going to be the Laura Eli, Henry Marshall deal if Henry can continue to close it up. But right now, Laura is just laying down some fantastic lap times. You know, our overall leader is our fastest race car on the racetrack. Laura Eli, sitting in second place, is our second fastest race car, and same thing with third, Henry Marshall.
Things have returned to their natural order, I suppose you could say. And Hankins,
life finds a way.
He's at the top of the food chain today, that's for sure. Is that 295. I'd love to see where he can take this in the North America Series as well. It's a lot deeper field, so obviously the competition can be a bit steeper over there. We're waiting to see him get some good results, but hopefully he can use this all to his advantage, as we were alluding to earlier with the drier racetrack showing up for the first time since yesterday. So that's, I guess, the good news for the drivers is they have had a chance to get out here on track when it was drying, get used to it, but it's been about 24 hours.
Yeah, the test sessions, practice sessions that were happening yesterday were in the dry conditions. It was just that we woke up this morning here in Northern California to a rain-soaked racetrack and constant rain coming down throughout all of the qualifying sessions. I think it was actually the GT3 Cup Group B that started to dry out a little bit, and we really saw those lap times start to drop. But ever since then, we haven't really seen any rain. It continued to dry out during the Cayman race, and even here in our USA West race that we've got about 12 minutes plus a lap, there is no precipitation in the air. It's only coming from if cars run off track and bring it on themselves.
Yeah, I'm knocking on a bit of wood. You say it's not raining right now. I don't think it will. It does look like we've got clouds overhead that are going to start chucking down on us. There are some maybe in the distance for later tonight, mind you. And as we said, we have one more race left to go today with the GT3 Cup for North America. But at least for now, it's looking pretty sunny. In fact, we can even see blue sky from our onboard. Look at that.
Yeah, just outside of this bowl over here is a ton of blue sky.
The beautiful bowl of Sonoma that the track is sort of nestled in as Hankins comes around the final corner and heads back in. Just past our commentary booth here. This is a track that has been around in North American racing for many years.
Well, I mean, how many name changes has it gone through, right?
Yes.
I mean, lots of old school racers will know this as Sears Point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it changed over to Infineon Raceway. We're here at Sonoma Raceway. But yeah, it's gone through a few different iterations of names.
And the layout is mostly similar. The main course is the same as it was, but you can see they've added so many different versions that can be run. In fact, this one that we are running is not the original. Was added to it, giving us that chicane, which just adds another potential overtaking spot towards the end of the lap. But this part, down through turn 6, through the carousel, that has always been a huge factor. And as Joey has mentioned multiple times, definitely one of the most iconic corners on this circuit.
Trying to think of another one. I mean, maybe
11
turn,
kind of
yeah,
is,
I was going to
yeah.
say turn number 11, just kind of with the tire bundles down there. It's an odd looking corner from kind of the TV angles and everything. But if you ask me, this right here is my favorite section of the racetrack. Now, I prefer to take the true long S's through 9 and 10 as well. But I love the back side of this racetrack. If you are behind on a corner, you are losing lap time, but you also have to be up on top of the wheel. You've got to be very aggressive and comfortable with the car changing directions left, right, and the weight going back and forth. And, it's just a wonderful section.
Now, something, I don't know if you had mentioned this, Joey, but Zach Bradford, I think, is not showing as in this race now. Justin Lewis has been bumped up to second in the Caymans.
So I had not reported that. I had mentioned that Herback had gotten past Bradford,
Yeah.
and I had noticed that Zach's lap times were maybe suffering a little bit, but this is a new development.
Interesting. We don't have any information as to what has gone on there, but yeah, I'm not showing him on the track right now. So Justin Lewis, now he was in second in the Masters already, but this will jump him up. But let's give some love to this man right here, Greg Herback, who I mean, not only is he running a great race, he's not just pretty much, he's literally had to hop out of the car, jump over to this other chassis that he's got, and get right back in the race car and go again. And at his age, I'm impressed at the endurance he's showing.
Them downhill ski racers, man, they certainly know absolutely no quit. It doesn't matter what happens out there. If you line them up at a racetrack and if there's gates out there, he's going to say, yeah, let's go ahead, let's do it.
Getting as much in as he can. Honestly, I love seeing that he's joined in on the North America Series because this is his third season now. His second full season, we should clarify, in the USA West Series, but his third that he's been competing in. 24 was the first year that he hopped in partway through and started racing and was picking it up bit by bit and finally had his first win in his Sprint Challenge career back at Phoenix. And he's about to get number 3 here pretty soon.
And since you were talking about the different series and whatnot, I also wonder if Bradford maybe has just kind of pulled it in based off of what you had just mentioned with Herbeck, right? Is that Zach Bradford was also just in that Cayman race, just did 40 minutes inside the race car, hop back over into this race car, and it could just be that, hey, you know what? I'm already in the lead of Pro-Am. What's the harm if I pull it in the pit lane?
Yeah, exactly. He's probably learned a lot in these few laps. I mean, like I said, he finished on the podium after he started well towards the back of the field. So I think he's accomplished plenty today.
And I also think that we were talking about him in that North American Cayman race. He really outperformed, I think, what we were expecting him to do. So I think that if he realizes that as well, he might say, you know what, I want to focus on this North America race this year.
It could be, yeah. We'll see if he shows up again. I do not know what his plans are, but I'll maybe give him a poke after this race and see if he's shifting his focus a little bit. In the meantime, the focus on this 49. Just doing a good job running away. He's about 20 seconds ahead of Lewis currently, so he's also got himself a nice little buffer. 6 minutes plus 1 lap left to go for Greg Herbeck to go 3 for 3 on wins in these Cayman Masters category.
And Herbeck is just laying down the fastest lap times in that Cayman class by a couple seconds. So pretty impressive as we ride on board here. The 75 is Justin Lewis, our second place in Cayman Masters right now, driving the number 75 car, coming across start-finish line here. Roll his way up turn number 1 out of the gas a little early, and now down into 4th gear. Little bit of brake pedal pressure, and now a harder brake pedal pressure. So certainly seems like Justin is getting the rhythm out there and figuring out what it takes to go faster on Sonoma.
And I only just realized now, because many of our viewers may have noticed and also seen in some of the ads that Porsche is celebrating 75. So that works out well on the race suit that they have given many of the drivers here as part of the Porsche Sprint Challenge program with that 75 emblazoned on the side, but just kind of coincidentally works out well for Justin.
Jump back up here to our overall leader. Coming up to 5 minutes remaining, plus that 1 additional lap once we get all the way down to 0:00 on that time clock. Brandon doing a nice job using up all of that racetrack. I always look at the car's attitude going into the S's from that rearward facing shot, because so many people cheat it over to that left-hander in the S's, and you need to keep the car all the way over driver's right going into it, because it opens up that radius and allows you just to be that much happier on the throttle pedal throughout.
And I think importantly, we need to point out that Brandon is not resting on his laurels with this lead. He just set the fastest lap of anybody last time by. Let's see what this one is. I don't think it's going to be as quick, but I mean, he's clearly pushing.
And I mean, there was only, what, a handful of cars that got down into, call it sub 140 range in that GT3 Cup qualifying that we had a little bit earlier. So you're right, he is on it, and I think this is good for the drivers to go out there and run a full race distance in a dry condition. What does the car start at, and what does it end with?
He's got to do this all over again pretty soon, but right now he's trying to hustle his way to the finish line. Just has a few more laps to do so. Looks like he's got a little bit of lap traffic in front of him. In fact, I think that might be Herbeck.
Certainly looks like it. It's the gray and yellow car.
That is, yeah.
Yes, maybe more black and yellow versus gray and yellow.
Now you have me wanting to see it and see what my opinion is on that matter. But yeah, it's been kind of the theme of a lot of his cars. Yeah, I think it's black, gray, and yellow, and some orange and red. He's just running the gamut there.
Well, either way, Brandon Hankins is going to have to pass a colorful stop sign, apparently, here coming up. Probably look towards turn number 11. I know that Greg Herbeck is always very respectful on the racetrack. So let's see, does Brandon pass driver's left? Looks like he's going to sit in the tire tracks, go with an over-under. Place himself in a nice inside position for turn number 11.
Cross with a little less than 3 minutes to go, so we're getting down to it. It's getting close to the last 2 laps here soon. He'll cross the line, and this time up to the 141s, and some of that obviously will probably have been impacted by having to lap Greg Herback, but he also was in no rush to try and overtake since he had that handy 17 seconds back to Laura Eli. Herback himself now up to 23 seconds. Well, it was 23. It's gone down to 21, probably also with him being overtaken to Justin Lewis. So he also really didn't need to do anything special to try and prevent Hankins from diving down the inside. At this point, we're counting down the laps because we have spread out just a little bit amongst our 6 cars still on the field of our 7 who started this race.
See about the apex down here. So we've been watching really the analyzing of their lines throughout the mixed conditions, right? And how many times have we seen drivers go so far wide in turn number 7? We don't see that anymore. It is completely dried out. So I think that the drivers can kind of rely on their prep knowledge going into the weekend. Now, of course, it's going to adapt, and you got to make sure to stay off the slippery bits as always. But I think that this is going to be a little bit more traditional Sonoma that they're used to.
Okay, it'll be 2 laps to go this time at the line for Hankins. And with Herback directly behind him, he gets that same message. I'm going to give a shout out to Krigler, who's still running in 4th overall, but is looking at a 2nd place in those Pro-Ams. So that is excellent news for him, a podium to be gathered up there. And as we've mentioned, Justin Lewis as well, looking at a podium in the Cayman Masters, finishing in P2. But this is up and over the crest of turns 3 and 3A for Brandon Hankins. And our viewers who have watched races here at Sonoma may be seeing some of this beautiful scenery, and it's not just the rain that has caused this to be nice and green. This is how Sonoma looks typically in the spring, but we see most of the races, the big races here, happen farther into the summer or into the fall, where it gets quite dry and very, very yellow around the track. Another personal best, not just personal best, best of anybody, last lap by for Hankins, down to a 140.2.
Well, there goes the time flicking down. 5 seconds remaining. We'll get it down to 0 here soon enough, and now we'll be getting the white flag the next time our leader here on screen gets to that start-finish line. You mentioned last lap purple fastest, a 140.2 from Brandon Hankins out there. And the other mystery that kind of we were wondering earlier on, right, was Henry Marshall going to be faster than Mark Krigler once he actually got by? And since Krigler made that little mistake, I can report that Henry Marshall's been maybe 0.2, 0.3 of a second faster a lap than Krigler.
Yeah, it was that spin, I think, that cost Mark, as he would have been a lot closer. White flag is out for Hankins. Just 1 to go now, 21 seconds back to Laura Eli. But yeah, I think Krigler can take some consolation in the fact that if he can keep from making a mistake like that again, he should hopefully be pretty close to Marshall next race, but we'll have to get there first. For now, we've got one more time around.
A little shallow there into turn number 4, but it doesn't matter because guess what? He's got 20 seconds on Laura Eli, and really you go all the way back to Mark Krigler, and he has got nearly an entire lap on the next class car down there in 4th overall. So really Brandon Hankins can just kind of cruise it on around to the checkered flag from here. There's no need to take any sort of unnecessary risks out there. And we got to remember too is that we've been talking about these couple of Cayman drivers that essentially hopped out of the car and back into it. Brandon Hankins are going to be doing that as well.
So as we watch him come down through the S's for the final time, he'll hit the brakes here at the chicane and weave his way through towards what will effectively be the last actual corner at turn 11. Now that it's dried out, we found out that turn 12 can be a bit of a corner, as many drivers were lifting in the wet through there. But for Brandon Hankins, he will approach the line, and while he had to work his way through the fields, he did quite a job of it. And Brandon Hankins will win here at Race 1 in Sonoma.
Started from the back and driving it all the way through the field. Nicely done there from Brandon Hankins. And now we just patiently wait for Laura Eli to come across the line. She is leading in that Masters class, and here she is in the black and orange. I'm sorry, this is going to be the Cayman car of Greg Herbeck, finishing in the lead in Cayman Masters.
There's Laura Eli. Very similarly painted cars, so that caught us out at least once. She is going to win in the Masters Cup cars while we wait for the rest of them to come across. So with that, let's not forget that we've got some interviews coming up after this, Joey.
Yeah, definitely. While these cars come across the line here, we're going to let Joe Pete get down to those post-race celebrations as we get the rest of our squad. Here is Henry Marshall coming across. He's going to finish in second place in that Masters class, and now just the one remaining car of Mark Krigler. I see him down there in turn number 11. And his little nemesis corner here today in race number 1 of Porsche Sprint Challenge USA West action here at Sonoma Raceway. And he'll be crossing the line momentarily. Here he comes, the 204, and claim second in that Pro-Am class. I'll go ahead and read out our overall results here. Brandon Hankins with the win. Laura Eli finishing in second place, but with a class win. Henry Marshall finishing in third. Mark Krigler finishing in fourth. And then comes the Caymans. Greg Herbeck wins that Cayman Masters class with a 5th place overall. Justin Lewis second in the Caymans. Zach Bradford is going to finish a few laps down in 3rd place. But if you're watching, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more post-race celebrations.
Experience the ultimate thrill, Porsche GT Track Day, where passion meets performance on some of North America's most legendary racetracks. Designed exclusively for Porsche owners, this is your chance to unleash the full potential of your vehicle in a motorsport environment. Drive the same circuits as professional racers, on the same weekend as Porsche Sprint Challenge events. Where will your Porsche take you? With limited space, every Porsche GT Track Day ensures a premium, exclusive experience. You'll get nearly 3 hours of track time, starting with reconnaissance laps, progressing through lead-follow sessions, and culminating in exhilarating open laps. Plus, strap in for heart-pounding hot laps with a professional race driver.
I thought I was fast. Didn't resemble anything that I've ever done.
Beyond the track, immerse yourself in VIP hospitality, premium viewing areas, and exclusive paddock access where you can witness Porsche Sprint Challenge teams in action. Spots are limited. Scan the QR code now to reserve your place at Porsche GT Track Day.
Welcome back to Porsche Sprint Challenge USA West action at Sonoma Raceway. We are going to head down to the pits with Joe Peak for our post-race celebrations.
We have our Masters Cup winner here in Laura Eli. Laura, we were able to finally talk about your rubber duck on there. Did it help you to victory today?
Maybe a little. I don't know. It's always good luck to have it in the car. We kind of had a rough weekend. Our teammate, had some issues earlier, but it was fun. I wish we had more competitors in the West, but it was still a fun race, and did the best I could.
I think the one thing you can be thankful for is that it was dry. How was it in the qualifying with that wetness?
Well, it seems like we had the two worst qualifying and practice sessions with the wet, so it was pretty scary. I gotta maybe check the seat in the car and make sure it's not got any dirt in it.
Well, excellent job. Congratulations on the win.
All right, thanks.
And then we're going to try and find Greg Herback here, who's taken off, so see if we can track him down with him taking a victory in the Cayman Masters as well. Had to work his way up for a little bit. Let's see if we can hop in because he's having a little bit of a conversation here. Greg, congratulations. If it's okay, we got a little interview with you.
Okay.
You managed to take the victory today, but it definitely looked like you had to try and run down Zach for a minute.
I did. Zach's a tough competitor, and it was fun. It made it interesting, and it was good. It's a shame he lost his gearbox, so otherwise we would have had a nice race going there, but it was fun.
And that explains, we were wondering why he had to pull off there, but you two both had to jump out of the car and get right back into the car. How do you have the energy to do that and take a win?
Well, actually, that's the first time I've done it, but I've done endurance racing, so it's not much different than that. And, actually it worked out okay. I may think about the cool shirt next time, though.
I think that sounds like a good idea. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
And that's our winners here in the USA West Series. Up next on the channel, we have the GT3 Cup North America Series.